Hey, what's up, everybody out there? I want to welcome you back over to the channel, the Initial D EXP. I'm your host, and I will forever be your host, Initial D. So, if you notice, I'm not in, my around my streaming gear, around my desk. I'm actually in my car, and as you just saw, I dropped off my kiddos at school this morning. It's just one of the duties that I have as a father, as a parent. To those who don't have kids, I don't really expect them to be able to relate or to be able to understand that feeling that you have when you take your kids to school, and that feeling that you have when you pick them up from school. I can recall me being a child, being picked up by my grandparents. I remember they picked me up from school. We would go to McDonald's afterwards. Sometimes they would even have a toy or a surprise, we'll say, waiting for me when I got out of when I got out of school. When I hopped in the car, got in the back seat, and there was always something waiting for me. I remember in high school, I think I was in the ninth grade, I opened the door, and to my surprise, there was a PS2 sitting in the back seat waiting for me to get in the car. As I sit here and reflect on my childhood, I had a pretty good childhood. And as a father, a parent, I want to make it my duty as well to make sure that, my kids have a great upbringing and even better upbringing if I can help it, because they deserve it. They're great kids. Um, I wouldn't change a thing, but I just want to make sure that I'm able to do that. And I know that I wasn't always in the position of taking them to school and picking them up, but since my wife has started a new, and if you're wondering, I'm holding this microphone, this lav mic here, Shure mic, Shure mic, whatever. I lost the clip, so I actually have a clip on the way that should be here, I think Friday. So until then, I'm gonna have to hold it. But there wasn't always a time that I was able to pick up my kids and take them to school. Wife recently changed jobs over the last couple of months, leaving a job that she was at for at least about 10 plus years, 10, 12 years or so. She finally just left, and we knew that by her leaving, it would be a life altering, situation as far as like how I operate with my schedule, the kid schedule. Thank God I have the type of career that I can manipulate my schedule. I have a lot more freedom than she does, so I can honestly say if it wasn't for that, I would not be able to pick up my kids from school. I would not be able to take them to school. Neither of us would be. So I'm just happy that at least one of us is in that position that we can, control these things, because kiddos have to go to school. We don't really care much for school buses. I just want the pleasure of being able to take my kids to school. And I get it. Some parents don't have that option of taking their kids to school. I completely understand. But as long as my children have been going to school, which has been, my oldest son is 15, we've always taken them to school. And we didn't really, much allow him to start riding the bus until he was like in the eighth grade. And that was when we started opting for school buses. A lot of you are probably wondering, why am I sharing all of this IRL stuff? And I'm gonna go ahead and get into that right now, because to me, this is my life. This is what I have to do on a daily basis. This is who I am. I'm a father, husband, I have a career. All of these things come before, being a streamer. There are some people out here who just look at you as a streamer, but they don't necessarily think about what you potentially are dealing with on the outside, IRL. Very few people actually ask you how you are doing. I found myself questioning, what I want to do going forward with content creation. By nature, I love to create content. I used to write poetry. I used to draw a lot when I was younger. I even wrote a couple of short stories as a young teenager. I used to write music. As of recently, I've gotten a lot more into blogging. So self expression via content creation is something that I have always loved to do. Period, point blank. I love to create things. I love to put my thoughts out in the open in hopes that it will motivate somebody, in hopes that it will inspire somebody. If you follow me on Twitter, then you know this to be true. That's just who I am as a person. I love to provide content. But I think that, I'm at a point at my life where it's like, okay, so you like to create content, but is it starting to seep into parts of your life that it has no business seeping into? Meaning your family, your career, your personal time. I've talked to so many different people, so many streamers about this subject, and it's all the same. I see them saying that they're burnt out, that they're tired. A lot of individuals are overstretched. They're stretching themselves thin for very little return. And it almost makes you question, man, is this even worth it? Like, what's the point? A lot of people end up, asking themselves that question. And I've even asked myself that question. I've been a streamer on Twitch for a year. Have a lot of great memories. I've accomplished a lot of things. But there are some things that I feel was taken away from me because of the sacrifice that I've made to be a consistent content creator. We've all saw those videos from the bigger streamers who say, well, you have to continuously make content every single day. Posting 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day on this particular platform, on that particular platform, and do it unrelentlessly. I'm noticing that a lot of people who think like that, who do these things, they're not your average person. Because 9 out of 10 streamers are just average people who have to go to work, who have children, or they're married. Maybe not. I don't know. I just know that they're average people who enjoy the quality of life. And these bigger streamers, that are definitely less than 10%, I almost want to say at least 5%, can have that mentality of hustle, grind, go, 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 get it out there, push, 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 push. That's actually not that hard to do when you don't wear a lot of caps. When you do wear a lot of caps, it's hard to see your head. Hard to see your head when you wear a lot of caps, I'll say. This year has been probably the most active year that I have been on social media because that's what's required to be a successful content creator, a successful streamer. A platform like Twitch, visibility is zero, so the work has to be done for you, and no one's going to do it for you. That's cool because we are 100% responsible for our actions. We are responsible for the success that we accumulate or that we don't. We're responsible for it. Nobody but us. So then we have to all ask ourselves the question, is this worth it? Is it worth it? I put a tweet out there this morning. I was fed up with the internet. Like, honestly, I'm just tired of the internet. I'm tired of looking at a screen. I'm tired of editing this, editing that. I'm tired of doing these things. That doesn't mean that I don't enjoy it. I'm just tired of doing it. Because, like I said, this year has been so demanding when it comes to being on the internet that it is taken away from certain areas of my life. Prior to me streaming, it was no problem for me to deactivate Facebook, deactivate Instagram, deactivate Twitter, deactivate whatever I felt like was becoming a problem in my life so that I could give that time to myself. God forbid that we ever invest in ourselves. I'm a person that likes to pour into people. I like to give to people. I like to see people prosper. But I think the problem with that is that, I see very little of that, come back to me. And it's not that I'm expecting anything from anybody. I don't ask anybody for anything. But I also do things, out of the kindness of my heart without anybody having to ask me to do that. I was talking to a good friend this morning. He was like, you pour into people all the time, bro. It's okay to step back. It's okay to take a break. I've had several people tell me this. They've been telling me this forever. For the last couple of years, even with my career, I constantly pour into people. So I'm pouring into people in IRL. I'm pouring into people on the internet. And my cup, admittedly, I believe is just running a little on E. There are things that I have to take care of, in IRL, which I'm just not going to complain about it because each and every one of us has things that we need to take care of as adults, as responsible adults. We need to take care of these things. That's just the way it is. There's no point in complaining because in life, we all have to deal with trials or a test, if you want to word it that way. We just got to deal with these things. There's nothing we can do about it except for rock it with a smile on our face, and that's it. Last year, during the pandemic, while everything was closed, I spent more time with my family than I ever spent in my life because neither me and my wife really could go to work. We were taken care of, but we couldn't physically go to work. So we were out, on and about, we went for hikes. We just spent a lot of time together. And a lot of people said, well, oh, the pandemic ruined my life. Maybe it did, and I'm not trying to sound insensitive, but I'm sorry. I hope if it did have a negative effect on your life, that things will turn around for you, because I know I couldn't imagine what it's like to lose everything. But I know for me and my wife, we embraced it and we took advantage of the time that we had together. And the opposite has happened this year. We've both been so busy that we barely have time for each other. It's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. We have our time and after work, but she not only does she work, but she has a business that she runs that's really starting to take off, and I'm happy for her. But it leads me to say, okay, what can I do? Because I asked her this a couple of days ago, what can I do differently? What can I do to free up my time? And she always says the same thing, just like a wife would do. She's like, you need to take a break from what's stressing you out. I would say that, like most of us, work, of course, pushes us to the limit. My job is not very hard, but it's just a lot of responsibility. It's a lot of dealing with people. It's a lot of precision decisions that I have to make, educated decisions that I have to make to ensure that the people that I work with are good. And it's nothing that worries me. It's nothing that I'm too concerned about. I can do it. I've been doing this for 11 years, of course, but when you accumulate all of these other factors, like working, content creation, helping with homework with kids, spending time with the wife, going on a date, stuff like that. Like, I'm supposed to work a little late today, but I think I'm going to go ahead and cancel my appointment so I can go on a date with my wife. Once again, that's just one of the advantages that I have as, business owner. I could do that. But I'm making this video because I just wanted to let everybody know out there, how I'm feeling, how I'm doing, what I'm thinking when it comes to content creation. Like I stated earlier here on this video, I love content creation. I love to express myself. I love to help other people through my content creation. So I do not see myself not making content completely, but I do see myself taking more frequent breaks, more stepping back a little bit more often, unplugging a little bit more often. I think that's going to be the only way that I'm going to be able to do this long term, is if I march to the sound of my own beat, and that if I do things my way, that's the only way I really see me becoming successful at this without going crazy, that is. And it's interesting because, I've had many conversations with other content creators who feel overwhelmed, who feel overworked, who feel tired because at the end of the day, it's hard. It's really difficult. And I really hope that those of you who enjoy content appreciate your favorite streamer or appreciate your favorite YouTuber, because understand that this is not an easy thing to do. This is very time consuming, and it's very sacrificial too. All to bring smiles to the faces of people, or to bring informative information to people, so that we can create thought-provoking moments, so that people can become better versions of themselves. That's at least that's how I see content creation. I'm not here to exalt myself. I'm fine with that where I am right now. What will be for me. What's for me is for me, and I'm sure that those changes in my life will come in due time. All right, folks. I really I wanted to try to keep this video under 10 minutes, but look who it is. When have you ever known me to um, keep something short and sweet? I'm a very extended person, and I go in depth a lot, and I wanted to express myself to everybody. It wasn't enough for me to make a tweet. It wasn't enough for me to just make a blog. I wanted to verbally say what I wanted to say, and say it with bass in the voice, say it with passion in the voice, say it, with a visual concept, via the camera here. I wanted to let everybody know just exactly how I'm feeling. Okay. Anyway, we are at 20 minutes. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Give the video a like. Thank you for your support. Let's keep this thing going. And here's a message to everybody out there. Listen, if you are feeling overwhelmed, it's okay to take a break. It's okay to step back and do it for however long you feel like you need to. All right? Be sure to comment on this video, subscribe, share it if you feel a need to. I love you. Thank you so much. Peace.